Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. In this vlog, I'm going to be sharing 11 study tips. I know 11 is such an odd number, but one extra tip doesn't hurt. I figured it's final season and this would be something beneficial to some of you, so I really hope this helps. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and without further ado, let's begin. My first tip, which I find to be the most important, is to know the type of person/learner that you are. There are 4 types of learners: a visual learner, a reading writing learner, an auditory learner, and a kinesthetic learner. Just have to find which category you belong to and tailor your study method according to that. So for example, for the first 2 years of university, I would always type my notes and just study that way. And then in my last 2 years of university, I switched things around and I started writing every single thing by hand, and I found this actually worked way better for me, and this is what I do right now. On the other hand, I know a lot of my friends are visual learners and they just need to read a textbook or study off of the slides, and they will feel perfectly prepared and will be perfectly fine. So you just need to figure out which category you belong to and just work according to that. Tip number 2 is to make a schedule. This is something very simple to do and might sound cliche to a lot of people, but it's honestly very, very effective. But what I do when I first get my final schedule is I write down the dates of all of my exams, the time, and in which room they are. I just feel it's better for me to visualize my schedule all put together. You have them all together, it just makes it easier for you to make your own study plan. It gives you an idea of how spaced your exams are. So you can see how many days do you have between exam 1 and exam 2. I personally make my schedule in 3 different ways. I honestly don't have a reason to that. I just do that just because. So I do it in my notebook. I also like to write everything that I have to do on a board. It just makes it easier for me. You don't even need to write things out by hand. Back to my first point, this is just how I like to do it. You can put it on just the regular calendar on your phone or on your laptop. Tip number 3 is prioritizing your studying. So what I mean by this is when you look at your schedule, you have to look at 2 things: how hard every course is compared to the other, and how many percent each exam is worth. Always invest more time in courses that you find more challenging and just more practice than others. Courses that weigh more, it's always better to make sure you know 70% of all your courses than to know 100% of one course and then just 20% of the other. My 4th tip is to always set deadlines for yourself and make sure you give yourself 1 revision day before the exam, if not 2. Make sure you're not studying the day of the exam or the night before. For example, I have an exam on Wednesday. I want to make sure I'm done by tomorrow. This way I have all of Tuesday to review, and then my exam on Wednesday is at night, so I have all Wednesday to just skim over things. This is sometimes hard when your exams are closer together, but always try to work around that. My 5th tip, a lot of you are gonna roll your eyes on this, but go to class. What you get from class is very different than what you get from just reading the slide. A lot of profs say things and little details that they will test you on that aren't even found on the slide. It's very important to make sure you learn things in class or immediately after class than to just wait and then to just start learning things when you're actually studying for the exam. It's less stressful and it's less time consuming. Tip number 6, to ask for help. There's no shame in that. You're only harming yourself when you need help and you're not asking for it, and it also saves so much time. Whether it's your prof, whether it's your TA, whether it's your classmate, always make sure you ask for help when you need it. Tip number 7 is to always make your own notes. I can't stress this enough. Every person writes their notes in their own specific way, in their own specific style. Some people's notes are very condensed and they just want to know everything. AKA, some people just condense everything. Maybe they already know the extra information that you might be missing on if you study from their notes. I like to write my notes in a specific way. I don't like my notes to be colorful. A lot of people use colored markers and highlighters to study because it just makes studying fun for them. If my notes aren't written in a black pen, a blue pen, and a pencil, I'm not able to study. Always make sure you have your own notes so you can confidently know that you're not missing on any information and you're just more comfortable looking at things. Tip number 8, and this is one of my favorite tips, is to know the environment that you want to study in. For example, if I have to memorize for a certain course or a certain exam, I like to be in a very, very quiet. In fact, I like to be in a silent study space. I can't even be in a place where there's background noise. It has to be dead silent versus when I'm solving problems. So for example, like for my linguistic scores or for my math course, I like to listen to music when I'm doing those things because they get repetitive and I just like to have, you know, some fun. So that's why it's very important to know the type of person you are and the type of learner you are and just work around that. My 9th tip is group studying. Group studying, and a lot of times, is actually a great idea under 2 conditions. Always make sure you're studying with people who are smarter. Don't get me wrong, I'm all about like helping people. It actually helps you study in the process and like make sure you know everything. Love it when my friends ask me questions. If you want to dedicate 3 hours of your day, for example, to study for a specific course, spending those 3 hours with a group of people where you actually know more information than they do is not helpful. You have to study with a group of people where like every single person has a different strength, so you can all like contribute to the group study. You also don't want to study with stressful people because that's the worst thing ever. Some people are just very stressful. They breathe stress. Stay away. Tip number 10 is take as many short breaks as you can and use them as incentives. For example, when I'm studying, I'm not gonna take a break before I'm done 2 chapters. In this break, for example, I'm gonna go meet up with my friend for like a 15-minute talk. And actually my friends are very interesting, so that keeps me curious and like makes me get the work done. For my second break, sometimes I'm like, we're gonna get done with those practice questions and then I'm gonna go get a cake pop from Starbucks. I love cake pops. You gotta make things fun a little bit, you know. Tip number 11, which is the last tip, sleep. I'm guilty of this because I stay up late, not necessarily studying, just on my phone, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and then I have to wake up early the next day. And then a lot of time I go to the library at like 7 a.m. and I sleep for like 40 minutes and then I wake up at 7:40. So you don't want to do that to yourself. Also, don't stress. This is easier said than done. Just make sure you try your best and put in as much effort as you can so you can walk out of the exam regardless of whether it's good or bad, and you can say I did my part and I tried my best. Sometimes it is what it is. You have to keep moving forward on to the next one and keep pushing. Thank you guys if you made it this far and watched this. I hope some of those tips were helpful. Again, I wish you guys all the best on your finals. I hope you aced them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if you like it, and I will see you tomorrow again in my next vlog. Also, please, if you have any ideas, link them down.